Hey, there we go. Okay, found it. Man, it's the worst. You start a live stream and your microphone is not working. Man, that's when like panic hits you, yo. That's when you're like, oh fuck. I'm preparing like a great live stream and we start without sound. Yo, fuck. Oops. Should close it properly next time. Yo, what's up, YouTube? How are you doing? We got a lot planned for today, by the way. We're gonna cover the monthly all the way to the 1 hour while I'm cleaning my desk with my shirt. Goes in the wash anyway, so we good. We good. I'm going to the, to the gym after live stream, so gotta prep. Nice. Okay, we good. Ooh. Follow for more cleaning tips. I know, right? Yeah. Don't do that. Oh well. Gotta let it dry a little. And then we're good. So what's up, YouTube? How are you doing? How's your day so far? How's your week so far? Huh? I mean, if I speak for myself, great week so far from a trading perspective, but also just other stuff. We were looking for a move to the downside at the end of last week. Hit local resistance. Bearish CVDs. Yeah, nice. So far so good. For the doubters. No. What's the start, Joe? Finished. There you go. Shaky in. Cool. Okay, now I'm ready to start. Jeez, I was making that shake literally in the last 1.5 minutes before the live stream, man. I was like, am I not? Am I not? I was like, yes, I am. So I was in a hurry. Makes things messy. Yeah. What's up, everyone? So welcome. In today's live stream, we are going to cover the monthly all the way to the 1 hour. And it's going to be not as long as you might think, right? It's many time frames, but I'm planning to do 2 scenarios per time frame. Just picking the highest probability bull and bear that we have at the moment. We're going to start on the monthly index chart, and then we move to the main chart I use, which generally is the Coinbase chart, and then cover the weekly, cover the daily, cover the 1 hour, and then we answer questions. Now I'll be live till right around New York Open. That's when I gotta go again. But yeah, we have enough time. We have enough time to cover everything and answer questions as well. So good to have you here, everyone. Good to have you here. So Carl, Skywalker, Andrew, Dayan, Dutch Digital. Yo, you changed your name, Mark? Yo, Mark Dutch became Dutch Digital. Are you building a brand? I mean, you could, I swear. Like, you know so many people in the trading industry and all the different channels. Like, Mark, I'm wondering, why wouldn't you start your own business? Like ZZP, like in the Netherlands, right? And then actively be involved and working, like, everywhere. Yeah, I definitely think there's something in that. Like you enjoy it, you have the skills for it, you have the network for it, Dutch Digital. and it's a nice name actually. CSU, welcome. Mariella, welcome. Dutch Digital and Mariella happen to know each other. I haven't read the conversation in general chat in Discord in detail, but it had something to do with being in the Netherlands and enjoying a little smoke there, I believe. Sam, welcome. Bina, good to have you here as well. Skywalker, mildly gorgeous. Do you use open interest when evaluating CVD? I don't. I only use CVD. I did track data and statistics, which is the same thing, using CVD and open interest for myself in the past. And the way I use CVD is, maybe some people use it differently, but I found that for me, using open interest does not significantly help me in my trading. Like I was looking for like a significant difference, and it doesn't. It was very much the same, and therefore I removed open interest from my tools because it just adds another layer, which means it adds complexity to your trading routine and the tools that you use and what you're looking for. And if that one tool is not going to significantly change my way of trading and my outcome, I can as well remove it and keep it simple for myself. So in my own trading with my own trading strategy, I do not use open interest at all. Yeah. I think this guy has several bots joining every crypto live stream on YouTube. Yeah, Mark Dutch is one of them. M1304, welcome. Good to have you here. It's been a while. Flotty, how you doing? Became a bit wiser about WXYs. Yeah, good conversation in Discord, all about education. And WXYs can be very tricky. Yeah, the sideways and the double zigzag. What's up, Mike? How you doing? Dutch Mafia for life. Carl Hudson Hall, welcome, and thank you. Happy to have you here as well. Yep, won't talk about that. Yeah, exactly. Random name audio check. Yeah, I had at the beginning. Where's the window? Where's Skywalker? Where's the window new setup? I moved, by the way, so I live in the south of France now. Yeah, no window. I know it's very wide, very, very blank, but I moved to the south of France. So yeah, new setup indeed. And also I'm going to actually change my setup. Now my screen, which is, this one is, I think, a 36 or 37 inch Samsung screen that I have here, like a bent one, which I use as my second screen here. And then I have my laptop. I love a laptop because I can take it everywhere and trade and do whatever everywhere. But I'm gonna get a new laptop. This is, the one I have now is a Predator Triton 500. When I was a professional gamer, I was an ambassador of Acer, and this was the last one that I received during my career. And I mean, it's an amazing laptop. Like I've been using it, I don't know, like five years or something, like easy peasy, no problems at all. Like I love it. But I now I decided, like, with the channel, being significant in size and also taking a lot of my time, I want to make sure I have a backup. So I'm gonna get a new laptop, brand new, and use this one as a backup. I've already been doing some research online. So I will, and also probably just buy a webcam. Like that's the thing, like don't repair anything that works. It's kind of like my style, but I want to improve the quality in bits and pieces. Microphone is good, but I'll probably get a webcam as well. First test the webcam that's in my new laptop and potentially add one on top, or just get one. I don't know. We'll see. Random name Mendo Tav, Odin, good to have you here. Welcome, Odin. Bert Perkio, Sam, everyone coming in hot, eh? Hodl Crypto, MasterCard. To count the chart is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, starting from 66.5 to the current low we have. Not yet as a finished, well, theoretically you can, but the highest amount of volume is in your latest move. And therefore the probabilities, so if you want to count this as a 5 wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes, you can. The issue is that your wave 5 has the highest amount of volume, which is very rare, right? It's just very uncommon for a wave 5 to have it. Most commonly, it's wave 3 that has the highest amount of volume. Also, most commonly, wave 3 is the longest wave. and not wave 5. And if I do a quick check, is it already longer or not? Yes, wave 5 is also longer than 3, meaning you have an extended 5, which is also not what you like to see. So the probabilities aren't great to count a finished 5 waver here. Just rip the shirt off on stream and clean the table. Maybe another time. Carl, since we are doing full cycle, can we do different possible channels on the monthly? The channels on the monthly are a bit useless in my opinion. It's just because it's so high time frame where, you know, things like they work differently. It's the same as pulling Fibonacci's on such a high time frame. They work more locally, which you'll see. But the first retracement ever on Bitcoin was a 236 retracement for a wave 2. The second one was a 382. The last one to 15K was a 05. So yeah, it's you got to take things with a grain of salt, and I don't really use channels on the highest time frame. What I will do, Carl, is we'll go through the analysis, and then after in the Q&A, ask this again, and we can look at some channels. Yeah. Maybe a Band-Aid, welcome, man. Great to hear that you are safe and that you're helping people. So maybe a Band-Aid lives in the US in an area where hurricanes are not uncommon, and unfortunately recently there was one. So stay safe, man. Voice of Pi, welcome. Chris Cheese, welcome. Christian, good to have you here. Mariella, Holo Crypto. Okay, Liquid Mafia, how you doing? Welcome, man. Liquid Mafia is a legend in the community. 60.2 and looking for retracement. At the moment, probabilities are still higher to take the local low, but we'll get there. We'll get there. In the couch watching koenztrading. Always nice to catch some knowledge. A rainy day. Welcome, Tangerine. Thanks for popping in, eh? While chilling on the couch. David, welcome. Eric Dorion Laflamme, the guy with the most beautiful surname in YouTube, on YouTube, joins the chat as well. Eric Dorion Laflamme. I don't know, it just rolls off the tongue. No excuses. Welcome, Solid Fab. By the way, Solid Fab, everyone, has his own business in selling pipes, like for cars and motorbikes and stuff. Like he has some pictures in the general chat in the group. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Unstoppable Vibes. What's up, Blaster? Jeez. Okay, let's start. Is it okay to have the highest volume in an extended 5? Yes. If you get an extended 5, you want the highest volume preferably in your 5. That's correct. The problem is that an extended 5 is uncommon. Wave 3 is by far most common. So if you think about probabilities, you always label it a wave 3 first, and only later, if a wave 4 is invalidated, you might switch to a wave 5. Hudson, on your way to work. Enjoy your work. Good luck at work. 3 times in 2 years catching one of a kind is wild enough. It's crazy. It's crazy. And it's very unfortunate as well. I mean, what do you do? Of course, one can move, but friends, family, life. Yeah. Okay, let's get this started then. So I go to another chart. I'll go to the index chart, which is where I have my monthly time frame stuff. And I'm going to select, let's see, this is the bear. Yep, that's the bear. And then where did I have the bull? Oh, here we go. Okay, so ready? 20 minutes in, looks good. Yeah, let's talk maybe a Band-Aid soon, like whatever works. I spoke to you, or I messaged you in Discord. 44K, what's your opinion? My opinion will be shared very soon. Let's go through the analysis, starting on the monthly. Then we go to the weekly, daily, and then the 1 hour time frame. All right. So on the monthly time frame, and by the way, I will cover each time frame first, the bull and the bearish scenario, and then I talk about probabilities for that time frame, and then we continue to the next time frame. Okay, so and then I summarize the probabilities at the end so that we're all aligned and everyone knows the probabilities. Right? So on the monthly time frame, your, of course, most bullish scenario is a multi-1-2, where from the low of Bitcoin, we have a wave 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now in this scenario, your latest wave 2 at 15k here is your invalidation, and what you're looking for is another 1 and another 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, looking for a bear market in 2, and then continuation to the upside. Now if we compare the previous bull markets in time, then what you see on the chart now are fib times. So I'm comparing the time of the different impulses, different upsides to one another. So what you see here is that the green wave 1, this bull market in the 2016, right? 2016, 2017 was a little bit shorter in time than the yellow one. Reason is there's green wave 1 and just before the 786, and the 786 is taken from the start to the end of your yellow one. So you compare impulsive move 1, yellow one, with green 1. So it's a little bit shorter. Now that's important to know, okay? Now then we have the second over here, impulse up, so actually third, 1, 2, and then 3. The blue wave 1 here was the exact same amount of time as your green wave 1. This fib time here in blue was taken from the start to the end of green 1 to the end of green 2. So 1 and 1 are the same amount of time. Now therefore, we can use the 786 and the 1-to-1 as a guidance for a time target of this bull market. So now I took a fib time from the start to the end of blue 1 to the end of blue 2, comparing this move up with what we have at the moment. And then the 786 to the 1 can give a little bit of a range, a target area for your white wave 1. And in this particular scenario, we then get a target between March 2025 and October 2025 as your target for your white wave 1. Now, when we then think about price in combination with time, then what you see on the chart is a couple of fibs. Also, again, comparing previous bull markets. Now, the blue wave 1 here compared to the green wave 1 was a little bit shorter. Of course, in price, in absolutes, it was higher, right? You went all the way from 3K to 69. But on a logarithmic scale, which you want to use on the monthly, it's actually a shorter move. You take a trend-based fib from the low to the high of green 1 to the low of green 2, and the 0.618 acted as resistance. Now, using this 0.618 once again over here gives you a target of around 100K. Bit of flexibility, 180K, right? So that's like your range from a monthly perspective. Now, if we then look at the target area for your wave 5 as well, so if we count this move to the upside as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure in wave 1, then your most common target area for 5 is what you see on the chart, right? It appears right now. So it's the 1.236 to this 0.618, 81K to 130K, which is in confluence with the general box that we have over here. So this is a very important area on the chart for Bitcoin. 100K to 180K is an area of resistance and an area of interest to start another bear market, potentially. No? Good to know about. Now, if we then look for a retracement to the downside, if we finish our wave 1 and we look for 2, then you can see that so far each bear market had a higher retracement. I mean, this is what I meant with the question about the channel for a second. If you take a fib from the low to the high here, oh wait, I don't have the 236. Let me toggle it on there. Then you can see that it didn't even hit the 236. Like the first retracement, not even 236. But then your green one here, 382, blue one, 05. So you can see like there's a bit of a trend going on, no? Like the highs become a bit shallower and the lows become a little bit deeper. With that in mind, if we take a fib from the low to the highest target of your white wave 1, then your box here would be 52 point, or did the highest? No, lowest target, sorry. Messing that up. If you take a fib from the low to the 1.236, which is your, no. Mate, I'm messing, oh, okay, now I see what I did. Sorry about this. Okay, so it's a bit tricky. I forgot what I did because I don't often visit these charts, so excuse me for my lack of memory. But this 0.5 here is taken from the low to the highest point, the potential highest target, right? The 0.786. From the low to the 786, giving you 52. The 0.618, right, is taken from this low to the lowest target at about 81. The reason I do this is to get the biggest target area for a 2. You can see 236, 382, 05, 052, 618, right? So your target would be 52.4 to, let's say, 30K by that time. Okay, so that is your bullish scenario where we expect continuation to all-time highs, and then the 100 to 130K is very important, and we'll take it from there. Now your bearish scenario is a finished 5-wave impulsive move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have a bigger 3-wave structure. A bigger 3-wave corrective structure, and then we continue. In this case, we look for a WXY or an ABC. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. Yes, there is a difference between the two scenarios with the internal structures, but keeping things very, very simple, your wave Y target would be at least 30K, your wave C target would be 15K. So by all means, you want to move down to at least 30K. Not the highest probabilities. The probabilities are higher for the bullish scenario compared to the bearish scenario, mainly also thanks to the local move up that we have so far from 15K. But in this scenario, you are looking for a move down, and preferably your Y or C is ending after the 382, which then is June 2026. So these are your currently 2 highest probability scenarios on the monthly chart, your bearish scenario and your bullish scenario, with then a target for time and price, and even a bit of a retracement target, which of course is quite hypothetical because we don't have all the information here, but got to be prepared. Got to be prepared. So now we go to the weekly time frame. Go back to my other chart. Okay. Oh wait, someone told me, oh yeah, you can just right mouse click. I forget, habits. When I have the brush, I tend to go back all the way in the corner, but if you right mouse click, you just get rid of the brush. I never use that, so it's a habit for me. But okay, so on the weekly time frame, here's your bullish scenario. It's the same as on the monthly, but now in a bit more detail. So here you then have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure. Common target for your wave 4 is the 236 to the 05, 57.1, 42.8. Invalidation 37.7K. You don't want to hit it. You also have a vertical line on the chart, and this is a fib time comparing wave 2 with wave 4. Now commonly your wave 4 is longer in time than 2. The fib time, by the way, taken from the start to the end of 2 to the end of 3. As mentioned, commonly 4 is longer than 2, ending after the 1-to-1 or at least around it. Now if this would be your low at 49, it is a week quote-unquote early compared to the 1-to-1 fib time, but it's very close to the 1-to-1, so there's definitely the possibility, of course, to finish a wave 4 relatively similar in size compared to a wave 2. But of course, there's always that potential to just continue ranging in your wave 4, which depends on the local structures, which is something that we'll deep dive into in a second. So here, your wave 4, we have enough room still as well, right? I saw something about is it possible to go to 44? Of course, right? I mean, you have enough space on the chart to move to 44, but the lower time frames are going to decide the probabilities for that to happen, no? At the moment here, the probabilities are highest for this bullish scenario. What you see on the chart now is a base channel taken from the start of 1 to the end of 2 to the end of 1. What you want to see is wave 3 breaking out of the base channel, wave 4 comes back, and then you want to see a wave 5. You don't want to see wave 4 touch the lower side of this base channel here. That would reduce the probabilities for this scenario. And if you do move down, which at the moment the base channel low is at about 46.6K, All right. If you do move down below this low or below this low and hit the lower trend line of the channel, your bullish scenario is going to switch to a double 1-2, which I actually didn't really plan on showing, but here you go. So you then have 1-2, 1-2, and then you move up for your wave 3, right? Which is actually a more bullish scenario. You got to cope with the pain short term, but then you have the more bullish scenario afterwards, right? Long term. Your bearish scenario is the same as shown on the monthly, which is, well, I already spoke about it, WXY, ABC, targets are the same. The only thing you see on my chart here is I added the linear target for wave Y. Now, on such a high time frame, you want to use the logarithmic chart, price pumped for 350%. You want to correct for the percentage moves. 1% at 60K is different than 1% at 15K. That is where the log scale comes in. So therefore, log targets on this time frame are preferred. But just for the sake of completeness, I suppose, I also have the linear target at 43.2. Okay, so on a weekly time frame, probabilities are highest for the bullish scenario. Then we go to the daily. And mind you, just like a quick refresh, the bullish scenario on the weekly, right? Target area 57.1, 42.8, invalidation 37.7. Then we go to the daily time frame. Now the daily is one of the trickiest time frames to count. During this range, especially over the last, when price was ranging over here, I did not cover the daily at all. With Elliott waves, you want to pick your battles, right? The time frames that are clearest are the ones you trade, are the ones that you want to keep an eye on, and then other time frames will follow in clarity, right? You will get clarity later. The daily time frame with this whole range is quite a complex structure, but we have a bullish and of course a bearish scenario, followed by the probabilities in a second. So we then have as a bullish scenario here a finished ABC, and then a leading diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure to the upside. Now inside this wave 1, we are then looking for zigzag family subwave. So we have a 3-wave structure in 1, 3 waves in 2, 3 waves in 3, 3 waves in 4, 3 waves in 5. That's what you're looking for. Invalidations are on the chart. Now after 1, you look for a short and deep 2, continuation up in 3. It is not easy to give the highest probabilities to a diagonal where a wave 4 is not yet finished. And that's the thing with the diagonal. And I've been saying this, of course, for weeks already. Once this diagonal started to be posted online, I always have to say that we have a 3-wave structure and a 3-wave down, and then highest probability bullish scenario diagonal. Is a bit ridiculous because there are so many other scenarios before a diagonal gets the highest probabilities, right? But I got to cover it. And also, if you look at bullish scenarios, because of the structure of the low at 49 to the upside, yes, a diagonal would be a bullish scenario. But I just like to repeat, it's difficult to give it the highest probabilities till wave 4 is in. So in other words, the 1 hour time frame here is the most important time frame on the chart at the moment, because the move to the downside we have over here really decides the probabilities for this scenario. And if this move goes down too deep, right, then this diagonal is going to struggle. So yeah, by all means, at least we have it on the chart. We can keep an eye on it. I don't really like to analyze the daily. We have an invalidation at the high and an invalidation at the low. Very, very simple. And if we also take a trend-based SIP, your invalidation is actually a little bit higher, 54K. If price moves down to 54K, this scenario is invalidated because your wave 4 is going to be longer than your wave 2. And then I'm going to do something else, take a channel, take the channel from 1 to 3 to 2, and then currently the, yeah, okay, so the highest invalidation is 54k at the moment for this diagonal. If you count a diagonal here, Joshua, then yes, it is indeed a zigzag family diagonal. So 3 wave 1, 2, 3. You want to see a 3 wave in 4. That's the thing that we keep an eye on at the moment, of course, locally. At the moment, right, there's no confirmation this is a 3 wave structure. And based on the local countdown, which we'll get to in a second, your bullish scenario would be a WXY double zigzag at the moment. Or a bigger A, B, and then C. But you just got to watch out for your invalidation. So the 1 hour time frame will provide clarity for the daily. Yeah, so diagonal. Something I think is also good to tell you is this is just data driven. But diagonals are actually not common in Elliott waves. They are counted, yes, but it's not like your most common structure. Ending diagonals are more common than leading diagonals, and multi 1-2s are more common than diagonals, leading diagonals. So just some information for your notes, I suppose. This comes straight from Elliott Wave International, by the way. Those are the founders of Elliott Waves is of course Mr. Prechter, but Elliott Wave International, they continue his work. Then we have the bearish scenario, and but yeah, we have, like Bettina in the group. She's awesome. She's from Poland. She's really cool, and she is actually really good in doing like analyzing and doing stuff with diagonals. She has a talent for diagonals, and sometimes we call it Bettina pattern. Anyway, your bearish scenario, which in the end is actually still bullish, is a 3 wave structure in W, X, and then a wave Y to the downside. So it's a complex combo structure. It's a bigger sideways double combo, WXY, inside the bigger wave 4, right? The yellow wave 4 on the weekly time frame. In this scenario, there is 2 options for our wave Y, right? The first one is what I have on the chart here, which is that we have a finished X. Wave X is most commonly a zigzag family structure. So a simple zigzag or a double zigzag. Triple zigzags are very rare. So in this case, 3 wave structure up in your X. And then a flat in a wave Y. For then a WXY sideways double combo. B most commonly takes the start of A. Wave C most commonly takes the low of A. So that would be your minimum target, 52.5k. Of course, invalidating a diagonal. This wave X can also be positioned at this high, and I think it was a little bit tricky to keep an eye on what was happening in the gold Elliott Waves section, the gold membership section there, as there was so much going on. But I think Stuba posted a count as well, where there's always, of course, the possibility for a double zigzag in W, X, Y. Yes, wave X did touch the 0.7 Fibonacci, which lowers probabilities for a double zigzag, right? ABC, correction ABC, but it is not an invalidation. It's just probabilities. So there's always that potential of X moving here and then still creating a new wave Y, right? So therefore your wave X is a bit longer in time and you're only just starting a wave Y. And then wave Y is most commonly a flat structure or a zigzag. So a 5-3-5 and then up, or a flat structure. Now in a flat, you need a 3 wave move down on the 1 hour time frame. So you can see that the 1 hour time frame is actually very important for the daily scenarios. Daily is quite tricky, right? We got scenarios, right? And these are the higher probability scenarios, both for the bull and the bear. But it really depends on the 1 hour time frame. So that's why in the recent content, I've been so focused on the lower time frames, right? So far, so good. We were looking for a retracement at the end of last week. We hit resistance, the box, and yeah, we got a nice move down. And this move down, that's what we're gonna keep an eye on, right? So yeah, very nice. Okay, then we go to the 1 hour time frame. Oh, probabilities, by the way. Oh, Dawa, you could build a statistics calculator based on the PDFs. If someone has the talent. But go to Discord, go to educational content, Elliott waves, download this. Statistics about Elliott wave structures. Yeah, it's very difficult in a way to give the highest probabilities to a leading diagonal. But at the moment, if we really want to move down significantly, we want an impulse on the 1 hour to the downside, not a corrective structure. And we do have to wait just a little bit more for that to be confirmed, to at least give the opportunity to more downside. So the daily is relatively like neutral in its probabilities. I do know that we also have the multi 1-2 here, but this 1-2 is so ridiculous, counting this as a 1-2, and even if you put 1 here, this has to be an impulse, which of course also is ridiculous. So I keep this in my folders in the back, you know. Finishing with a triangle, WXY, finished here. Wave Y being a triangle is not so common. So I'm not a fan unless, you know, proven otherwise, which then means we move up, take out this high, and instead of making 5 and go down, we continue, and then happy. Yeah, perfectly fine. So yeah, the daily, we'll wait and see. Daily is a tricky one, and it depends on the 1 hour. And I mean, the 1 hour has been awesome over the past couple of days. So on the 1 hour time frame here, do I still have that resistance? Yes, yeah. So we move towards the upside. We had this very long sideways range. You can actually read my thumbnails as well. But we were looking for retracement to the downside, hit resistance, weekend range, bearish CVDs, plop, right? That's what happened overnight from Sunday to Monday, Central European time zone. And now we're here. So your bearish scenario on the 1 hour is an impulse. And in this scenario, you're then looking for wave 1, 2, and then a bigger wave 3 in blue, 4, 5. Then a 3-wave corrective structure and another move down to take out the low. And depending on how low your second move down goes, if it hits 54K, it invalidates the bullish diagonal, which of course is a problem for the bulls. Huh? Bears, they like this. Huh? Now they need this low to be taken. Take this low and the probabilities increase. Now the invalidation is the red fib on the chart, because inside wave 3 here, we have a sub-degree impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, highest amount of volume inside your wave 3, which is what you like to see. Looking for 4, fib taken from the start to the end of 3, 618, 62.6K, invalidation for a wave 4. The bulls need to touch this. That's why in my previous update, the video, I said that for the bulls, this level needs to be touched before taking out the low. So this is your bearish scenario, and as long as you do not touch 62.6, it's your higher probability. Then we have over here the most bullish scenario, and the bullish scenario is a double zigzag. And in this case, we have an ABCW, then wave X, and an ABC in a wave Y. In this case, the low stands and holds. The problem with this scenario, also explained in the update earlier, was its time. So wave X can be very short, very long, so I'll skip on X. But if you take a fib time from the start to the end of W to the end of X, so now I am comparing W with Y. Wave Y, as you can see, is very short, ending before the 0.382 fib time, which is not common for wave Y. So therefore, it doesn't really, it's a negative impact on the probabilities for this scenario. So arguably, this is your bearish scenario, and your bullish scenario with higher probability would be this, having a bigger W, X, and then a bit of a wider, more time-consuming wave Y, right? Where you get a bit of a higher B, a three-wave structure up. Preferably, of course, you touch the 618 to invalidate a wave 4, just to be sure, right? And then you move down in C. And then you just make sure that from a time perspective, which is also important in Elliott waves, you at least end your Y after the 382 and not before the 382. Yeah. So even for the bulls, it would actually be better to still move down. But you wanna actually hit 62.3K first, just to invalidate an impulse down, because an impulse down here, that's the one that can get you much lower, right? That's the risky scenario for the bulls, and a happy scenario for the bears. While this scenario here, if you move up and hit 62.6, probabilities increase that what's going on here is corrective, increasing probabilities to take out this high before taking out lows at least. So yeah, that's the 1 hour time frame invalidation here on the chart, of course. And yeah, as long as you don't hit 62.6, the probabilities would be higher for price to take out this low. And even if you do hit it, it's still higher to take the low. So actually on the 1 hour, probabilities are higher to take out this low, but as long as you don't hit 62.6, it's arguably an impulse has higher probabilities than a WXY. Yeah, and then we take it from there. Of course, we hit support. We hit here the daily naked point of control. Very nice. So touched it, wicked into it, solid move to the upside, retracement at the moment. But yeah, as mentioned in the morning analysis, the probabilities are the same. But in the morning analysis, I said, like, yes, we are at support. We have the two scenarios, probabilities higher to take the low. But from a bearish perspective on the 1 hour, you're looking for a range to form in a wave 4, right? So this is your 2. Preferably you have a wave 4 that is decent in size. So preferably we actually continue ranging a little bit longer. Let's see if we take the shortest 2 possible. Then okay, we did make a high here, but yeah, you want to see a range in 4, right? And in a bullish scenario, where's my daily naked point of control? So in a bearish scenario, you want to range sideways. In a bullish scenario, you also get either a range or a bigger bounce to at least hit 62.6. So what I said is, for me personally, I just wait for a range to form and then take it from there. I'm not in a hurry. I always prefer clarity. I'm already in positions, not looking at the moment to add to anything or start something new. I just wait and then take it from there. So summary, probabilities on the monthly, bullish, weekly, bullish, daily, pretty neutral. 1 hour, still take out the low one more time. Question is, do you take it before hitting 62.6 or after hitting 62.6? As the probabilities are currently lowest for a finish structure here to the downside. Yeah, and that's that from an Elliott wave point of view, really. Because yeah, I say this sometimes, but yeah, I don't really care if price goes to 100K or 10K. As long as we get price moving up and down, I'm happy. So yeah. Okay, time to check the questions. Good luck, Skyto. Good luck, good luck. Always make sure you have a plan and a strategy, right? And if everyone has a different plan and a different way of trading. So if you have a plan, a strategy, and you can check all the boxes, you gotta follow your plan. You gotta follow your plan. So everyone will be in different positions all the time. So a quick skim here. How's the Bitcoin weather? Koen's logo backdrop behind you. Could be fun. Like, so what I'm looking. So at the moment, we live in the south of France. What we did is we started with a rental apartment in the city of Nice because it's easiest, where everything is furnished. So we literally by car went from the Netherlands to France, and everything in the car was everything we had. We literally dumped or sold everything we had, like pretty much everything. And we decided, like, okay, it's much easier to just get a furnished rental in the city, right? And then while we're here, look around us in areas to then buy a house. And we went to Cap d'El last weekend, which is an area that we're very interested in. It is an area right next to Monaco as well. Great environment, great beaches, great hiking routes, and very nice houses as well. So we had a little look online. And what I eventually would like to do is, now we get to the point, is actually have my office in the garage. So that I have a corner in the garage where I can make my content and make videos and stuff, and then have the cars in the background. That could be really fun. Could be nice. Yeah. Because an office backdrop for me is really boring, and I thought, like, yeah, you can make it interesting with logos and closets and stuff. But I'm a big fan of cars, so one day gotta wait a little for us to buy a house. We first want to live here for a year to experience the lifestyle, experience the winter, see if it is something for us, and if yes, then we're gonna go and look. Answer this one. Do volumes increase in a double or triple 1-2? Not necessarily. There's not like a particular volume, like set guideline for a triple 1-2. Wave ones can be higher in volume, as long as, of course, commonly your ones increase in volume and your twos decrease in volume. And also in a triple 1-2, it is common to have a similar structure in the twos. What are the probabilities to touch 59K? I mean, we pretty much touched 59K almost, but I can't say probabilities about specific levels. I can only say higher or lower to move up or move down based on Elliott waves. And then as it takes the low, in this case, as that is the higher probability, we take it from there. So 59 is just below the low here. So arguably higher probabilities for that to happen. So you will have clarity in your battle between this. The triangle. If diagonal, what would it be if wave 5? Is there an ending diagonal since wave 4 occurs a diagonal ABC? I'm not sure what you mean. If diagonal, what would it be if wave 5? Is there an ending diagonal too? So if you have a leading diagonal, yes, you can have an ending diagonal. So a leading diagonal in a wave 1, you can have an ending diagonal in 5. It's more common to get an ending diagonal if wave 3 is very extended. But wave 4 occurs in a diagonal ABC. wave 4 is not in relationship with a ending or leading diagonal, unless you talk about the subdegree 4 of a diagonal, which always has to be a zigzag structure. So if we talk about the diagonal on the daily, this move down has to be a zigzag family structure, either a simple or double zigzag. Triples are very rare. So that is why we currently keep an eye on a WXY. If price takes out the local low first before touching 62.6, then your bullish scenario is going to be a zigzag ABC. Your bearish scenario is a 1, 2, 3. Welcome, Barbie. Bull and bear flag. Yeah, in this case, the weekly would be like a bull flag. Which, however, that was... I think I answered it, I guess. Can we mark it first wave as expanding diagonal? And right now we have a completed third wave, first wave. Expanding diagonals are very rare, never preferred unless any other scenario fails. So I generally do not cover expanding structures unless everything else is out the window. Because if from a trader's perspective, an expanding diagonal is so rare that it generally doesn't really make too much sense to have them as a probability. I do have an expanding diagonal on the daily on my chart, which of course I didn't show in this particular analysis, but I do have one just in case. From the all-time high, so 73-ish to 49K as an expanding diagonal. And then that low, 49K, is a wave A or a wave 1. Yeah. In the daily time frame, Dr. Bearish, can we go below 49 in wave Y? Yes, that's a possibility. There's no reason that it cannot. It can, but the target in a WXY minimum, if you look for a flat ABC, your minimum is 52. I'll chat okay, now, keep me posted. Don't really know what this is about. How about the 1 minute time frame? 1 minute time frame is like I don't analyze the 1 minute. I go 15 minutes and higher. There are people that do the 1 minute time frame, like John, Overset Tim. I've seen Bettina in the group as well, sometimes moving on the one. Douwe here, he's called Big Ladushki. He's also someone that likes to hang around on the 1 minute. But the 1 minute is not for me, really. Is Elliott have confluence for lower lows? Yes, there is a possibility for lower lows, but then you need preferably an impulse down here. So in other words, you got to take out this low at 60.1K before touching 62.6. If you hit this low before 62.6, there is the opportunity for price to take out the lows at a later stage. It just keeps the door at least open. Alternation for bears, I would need to know what alternation you mean. Probably alternation between 2 and 4, I guess. So if you do have an impulse down, so for the bears, right, on the 1 hour, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, and then of course alternation between 2 and 4, right, 2 and 4. Now most commonly 4 is longer than 2. If 2 is complex, wave 4 tends to be simple. If 2 is simple, 4 tends to be complex. However, has to be said, by the way, that if wave 2 is a sideways corrective structure, wave 4 still has 78% chance of also being a sideways structure. There goes your alternation. Alternation is it's interesting to keep an eye on, but in general, I look mainly for time instead of structure. The structure will show itself. I just prefer to look at time between 2s and 4s, as 4s are more commonly longer in time than 2s. What if the next support, if it breaks, would be my box down here, which is between 57.9 and 56.8. There's a couple of confluences in that area here. Is it possible that wave 3 hasn't finished yet and we are in the wave B of zigzag in leading diagonal? In that case, it would have to be a wave X. So I need to go to the 4 hour for this one. So if we have the diagonal, right? let me put something on the chart here that's important. So 1 second, from the low to the high to the low. So oops, that's the wrong one, this one. So in a diagonal, the question asked is, can this move to the downside be a wave B of a wave A, B, C inside 3? So then 3 finishes here. The question is that it has very low probabilities at the moment. And that is twofold. First, this has to be a wave A, meaning a finished impulse. So you need to count a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, according to the rules. However, you can see we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can count a 5-wave structure here. We can count a nice 3-wave. So that's so good, right? So far, so good. But then 1, 2, 3, and then we need 4, 5, right? And then this is another 4, and this is a 5. So we can, and it's a little bit of a force. The reason is that counting this move on the lower time frames as a finished 5, this being an impulse, very, very tricky to count this as an impulse. It's better as a 3-wafer. But okay, we keep the door open. Wave A or wave W. So you have a zigzag ABC, right? A, B, C, W or A. Also, by the way, as per Sam Brandy, don't know if he's here, but in a impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, preferably 3, moves out of the base channel, which it didn't. Base channel taken from, oops, start of 1, end of 2, end of 1. It didn't move out of the base channel. It only hit the top. Something to keep in mind. But by all means, what you're looking for is a 3-wave structure. Is that a possibility? Of course. But you preferably do not hit 68.5. So if you want to finish this wave 3 higher, you want to preferably stay below this level. Because if wave 3 moves beyond 68.5, it means that your wave 3 is going to be longer in price than wave 1, which lowers the probabilities for a diagonal. Now, in order for price to stay below this level, you need a wave B or X to move so low that your wave C or Y target is going to remain preferably below 68.5. So, okay, let's check it, right? I take a trend-based fib from the start to the end of this move. And then 1 second here. Toggle on the targets, remove the 0.618, that's rare, and also that one. So we would need price to move down to at least 54K minimum for the common target. This is the common target here. This common target for a wave C or a double zigzag wave Y. To count A, B, C or W, X, Y to finish your 3. So you can see that in order for the common target for a wave C or Y to be at least a little bit below the orange line, which you preferably don't hit, you would need a retracement all the way down to 54. Which is very unlikely that if you go down that far and then move up, you're still looking at a 3. So yeah, preferably your 3 is already in. Yep. Cheers, Joshua. How to measure the fib time for a wave 4 and how long can it? For a wave 4, you measure it against 2. So if you have 1, 2, 3, sideways 4, 5, take a fib time from the start to the end of 2 to the end of 3, start of 2, end of 2, end of 3, and then just toggle on your wave 4 fibs. I recommend you to check the what's that? The go to my YouTube channel. And then to the beginners playlist. And it's literally in the first video, Impulse. I talk about FIB time in every video there. And good afternoon. When you draw FIBs, how do you tag the points of measured so precisely? Is it, yes, it's a key, it's a control. So look, wait, 1 second here. Look to the right, you see this? Yeah, you can, right? So if I press control, which you can see here as well, it says control there, right? So for example, I now have this horizontal, I can just dump it here. Or if I put my mouse here, but I press control and then click, it's connected to the low. So control is the magnet. And I like to move freely and then use my control as a magnet. What are the main factors that reduce the possibility for a macro correction after the 2021 top? What are the main factors that reduce? First, so step one would be the fact that you took out the 69K top reduces a lot of possibilities for the bears in like their scenarios. So it leaves the ABC and the WXY. And the move to the upside from 15K to 73K can be counted as a three-wave structure. There's a possibility. But if you want to be very bearish and then look for the 30K or even lower targets, preferably from the high, so from 73K, you start with impulsive structures to the downside, right? If you, in general, if you are looking for a deep retracement, you want to have an impulsive move down. So we have our all-time high, and what you want to see is one of three structures. An impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, correction, continuation. Well, I mean, difficult here, no? Can we count a nice impulse in here? No. Then we have a diagonal. Most common is contracting diagonals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, correction, continuation. Can we count a contracting diagonal here? Yeah, we could here. But then we wanted to see 1, 2, and down, which we didn't, right? So that's an issue. Can we count a diagonal here? Yes, but it is expanding. 1 second. So now I'm actually gonna get it. Where is it? This one here. So you can see on the chart the most bearish scenario that is possible. But an expanding diagonal in a wave 1 or A is very rare, never preferred, unless all the other structures fail. This is simply according to Elliott waves and the theory, right? So just the way it is. So therefore, this scenario never has the highest probabilities, but this would be your scenario that gets you to 30K pretty much. Right? That's the possibility. And your third, by the way, so you have impulse, diagonal, and then a multi 1, 2, which would then be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and just a couple 1, 2s, but very low probabilities. I think I even removed that scenario because it doesn't make sense anymore. I just had to have the expanding diagonal now. So the issue lies in the range that you have here. And partly you took 69K, so it limits possibilities for the bears. Makes the stream exciting to watch. Yeah, I mean, I gotta go, not gonna lie, it is time for me. New York is open, by the way. Yeah, please keep an eye on the 886 here locally, because the 886, once touched, increases the probabilities to take out the low. Any move to the upside after an 886 touch has higher probabilities of being corrective in a wave C or a wave Y, and then still move down at a later stage to take out the lows. So yeah, and after an 886 touch, it is relatively common to move to the golden pocket, like a bounce to the golden pocket, and then possibly continue from there. But yeah. Interesting. Is the relevancy of contracting disliked when corrections get longer or shorter? Is the relevancy of contracting and expanding diagonals disliked when corrections get longer or shorter in opposite expectancy to the previous one? The answer to the relevancy of contracting expanding or the structure, so a contracting diagonal versus an expanding diagonal, the probabilities for these do not change based on the size of the structure, right? Like the length in time, longer or shorter. The probabilities for contracting, expanding, and on the daily, for example, the expanding, very much depend on the structure, so not time, but price. So it very much depends on, where is it? This one? Yeah. So the probabilities for this are always low. Never preferred unless everything else fails, right? The only way to increase probabilities for this is not time, because we're good with time. We have scenarios like this bearish scenario, like this, the scenarios I explained earlier, where even in the bears you can go down, but then after you go up. This scenario here is not this. This scenario on the chart right now is that. So it's price dependent, and the probabilities for this only really increase if the other structures fail, which even means that if you do take out the lows here, your first higher probability bearish but still bullish scenario is that you're forming a Y here and then up. And then after this comes continuation down. Now, by the time, like, this is of course hypothetical in this scenario, but if you do come down here, based on this structure down, I will have a good idea of probabilities. So before the other scenario would be invalidated, I can already get a very good estimation of the probabilities of, well, we might actually now start looking for the bigger diagonal. But it's more price related. It's not so much time related. It's about the structures. Is it appropriate to also draw an 886 to the downside as well, since we have one up at 62,600? 62. Oh, but these 886s, they don't like matter really. So what you want to do is, once you get at least a three-wave structure down, you want to pull 886s every time from the low to the high, low to the high, low to the high, low to the high, right? Low to the high. And only when price is giving us at least another solid three-wave structure to the upside, we can start pulling from the high to the low, and then see if price continues the yes or no. So at the moment, the only 886 relevant locally for me is from this low to the high, or from this high to the low, but not this high to this low or this high to this low. Pleasure, Joshua and Levente. To make the market crazy. Yeah, it would. It is funny how Twitter, yeah. I don't watch any other channels. It's nor crypto Twitter. It's more a distraction. I do like to talk with other creators, but I don't like to see a lot of like thoughts and scenarios and things online. It's more a distraction than it helps me. I always prefer focusing on my own stuff, but I do like to be in touch with others, as well as in the community. I'm very active in the community, always chatting and talking. Yeah. Related side dominance for I mean, dominance is a percentage chart. I can do an Elliott wave count on it, but it's less relevant due to it being a percentage chart, but I can do one. But not now though, I gotta go. When do you use the logarithmic chart? if the percentage moves on your chart are very big. So on Bitcoin, it's usually from a weekly time frame or higher, because on a weekly, you're analyzing a chart that has hundreds of percents movement. But on alts, sometimes you go to a 1 hour chart and an alt on your chart has moved hundreds of percent. So the moment you analyze a chart where price has moved like 150, 200 or more percent, you want to switch to like a log chart and start using logarithmic scale. Okay, everyone, I gotta go. Gotta get to the gym. Had my shake at the beginning. We finished that one, so it's time for me to go to the gym and then continue working. So today is gym day, but then we get back to work, right? So there's still a lot that I have to do in the background, which is and is not YouTube related. So yeah, thanks everyone for being here. Appreciate you spending some time on your valuable Wednesday. And yeah, make sure you trade safe, right? Probabilities are actually quite clear, but always have a plan, have a strat, and follow your plan, follow your strategy, right? So locally for the bears, you're looking for a bigger range in a wave 4. And for the bulls, you want a 62.6K level hit first before taking out that low. So that's what we're going to keep an eye out for. So yeah, thanks for being here, guys. And tonight will be a normal video update, and then tomorrow another live stream. So I'll see you live tomorrow, but tonight another update.